Well, the Man City fans are understandably having a lovely time at the moment. They're making signings. They qualified for the Champions League despite having what they deem a really bad season. You know, they've got the likes of Pep Guardiola, Erling Haaland. Of course, they would have been sad to see Kevin De Bruyne leave. A true Premier League great, but they've signed some exciting players. Including the likes of Ryan Cherky, who is a very exciting attacking mercurial talent for what can only be described as really good value. 35 odd million for a player like that. Superb. But of course, you've got some of the meme banter, social media backlash of, he's going to turn, Guardiola's going to turn Ryan Cherky into a robot, yada, yada, yada. We'll see what happens there. I do think it's very exciting and compelling to see, on a footballing level, what he does with the likes of Ryan Cherky, who is great fun to watch. Although, of course, me supporting a rival team, it is a little bit, ruddy heck, here we go again, mate. But, amidst all this percolating in the background, people are still talking about the 115/131 charges from the Premier League. Now, this Stefan Borson spoke on TalkSport, which created headlines. I react to headlines here. I will be citing some information off goal.com, speaking about this in just a second. But just for context, it's been percolating in the background for ages. And what people, like football fans, are just assuming now is they're totally fine. They're about to play in the Club World Cup. They are preparing for next season. Guardiola's here. They've signed for another season. They've signed Haaland up for a decade. They're signing high-profile players, paying high wages, committing to financial contracts long-term, of like hundreds of millions of pounds. So how can a Man City fan who was just supporting their club, people who work in football media, rival fans, how can they assume and expect anything other than Man City just thinking we're totally safe here? It's certainly really compelling because, not only are they carrying on business as usual, but very assertively so. Anyway, guys, welcome back to Football Yannick. How's it going? Daily videos here on this channel where I just react to footballing stories. Whether it's big match results or stuff like this or transfers, whatever I find interesting. And I always encourage you guys to start up the conversation down in the comment section below. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for leaving a like, comment, and subscribing. Right, so I'm going to read an article by Chris Burton off Goal. It's very short, but I'll just cite it. We'll sort of, moonwalk through it together and discuss how we feel, or I'll discuss to you. Premier League warned of complete disaster. Wow. In Man City's 115. Bracket, or was it 131? We keep hearing different numbers. Charge financial fair play case as English top flight runs the risk of ruling reveal that, quote, nobody is going to want. The Premier League has been warned this could be a complete disaster. So what has happened? Goal.com writes, well, despite being made aware that they had at least 115 charges hanging over their head in February 2023. We are pushing 2.5 years, guys. This has been just boring now, isn't it? It's just this like Schrodinger's court case doesn't even exist anymore. The record-setting champions of England are yet to discover their fate in the long-running FFP saga. This is what I wonder, because I reckon they do know their fate, or at least broadly, like they know the sort of parameters of their fate, and they're like, yeah, worst case scenario, frustrating. Best case scenario, lol, we're counter-suing you. And this is my assumption here. I'm speculating. I'm guessing. I'm theorizing here. If that's the case, then they're like, yeah, we can. Obviously, they're backed by Abu Dhabi, their state-backed project. They can just keep spending, so they won't be in financial problems in terms of the ownership. An independent hearing was completed late 2024. I think it was November. A while ago now, but no verdict has been delivered. It has been suggested that City would be made aware of any potential punishments in the spring, but we have now reached the summer with seemingly no end in sight. It is mental, but it's also completely unsurprising, because this is just where we're at. Debate regarding the possible sanctions for City, here we go again, has continued to rage, ranging from points deductions, transfer embargoes, like bans essentially, and expulsion from the Premier League. And everyone needs to know where they stand in order to move forwards. City's former financial advisor, and I do think Man City fan, Stefan Borson, has explained why the matter needs to be resolved before the next campaign gets underway, with another window of opportunity in which a ruling could be delivered to set up open during the... Okay, because they're playing in the Club World Cup as well, in between. So yes, Stefan Borson, Man City, used to work for Man City. He always talks on TalkSport. He's often talking about financial stuff, trying to, find a way to deconstruct Chelsea's business is a great hobby of his, or trying to defend Man City. Is often you can find him doing. Maybe I'm being a bit unfair. He tries to be balanced sometimes, but Borson said on TalkSport, quote, "I think City must be quite close. I think there's been a lot of misinformation about that situation. If you have a 12-week trial, it takes a long time for the decision to come out." Yeah, but this is still a disgrace. And this is me talking now, of course. There should have been a timeline here for the people involved. It's been for almost like just the fairness of, I'll say the nation, but the whole footballing world supporting at large. They sort of deserve and most other court cases, you have a timeline, you have a sort of indication of what's going on. But this has been so... And I listened to a long piece on The Athletic a few months ago about why this is an outlier. This is different to how normal other big high-profile cases operate. It's been very peculiar, this one. In the outside world, it could take easily 12 to 18 months in a high court equivalent. Wow. This week felt... that literally doesn't... what's the word? Condescends? Condescends? Hold on. Contradict! My brain. What I just said, but that's just what I listened to on The Athletic. This week felt possible. But why did this week feel possible? Nothing feels possible for me. If it does come out one day, it's going to slap us all in the face and we're going to be like, oh yeah. And it will probably be, a fine. It'll probably be like some sort of agreed fine. And then it would be like fizzle out. Probably be very anticlimactic. This is how I reckon it will go. I thought that if it didn't happen in the international window that we had in April, that all parties would find a way to hold it over until the end of the season so that it didn't distract. Well, that certainly happened. We're in the zone now where, commercially, if there's any influence at all from all parties, the Premier League or the club, they would want to get the decision out during the close season. What's the alternative? That it comes out in the 3-week period after the Club World Cup before the start of the new season? And that's suboptimal. Because what if there are sanctions? Like, how would that even give the club time to prepare for said sanctions? It would be not very, helpful, would it? We're getting very close to a situation where, if it doesn't come out in the next couple of weeks and doesn't come out during the Club World Cup, you're getting very close to the start of next season. Nobody's going to want that. It's going to be a complete disaster. Pep Guardiola has, of course, already been very busy further bolstering his ranks in the first installment of the summer's transfer window. Jesus, I can't read this font. Yeah, so they did a lot of business in January. They've done a lot of business in the summer. I mean... they were due a rebuild, so it's fine, I guess. They make a lot of money, Man City, organically. Of course, the charges are from different elements in recent history. But in terms of, in isolation of sporting success, generating revenue, due a rebuild because of players, and yeah, there were always going to come a point where they spend a lot of money, buy a lot of good players. For Pep Guardiola, he's going to want good players. He's not going to want young potential. He's going to want oven-ready players, and he's getting them, and they're buying them. But it's so peculiar, because it's fascinating. Of course, there's the opposition fan like Schadenfreude. They want to see Man City punished. There is just an assumption of guilt by many. But whatever happens now, I'm at the point now, innocent, guilty, whatever. Your rival, your inner and your outer rival fan, you've seen Man City not be as good, because before they were like this just impenetrable machine, and a lot of fans were like, take him down. But of course, you've seen him drop off, and I wonder if Pep Guardiola, and I don't say this as he's still a world-class manager, of course, but I wonder if by his own standards, if he has peaked, which would be very interesting to see. And that doesn't mean he's not still the best choice coach for Man City, but it would be very interesting to just see what happens, even if like Man City get off completely scot-free and they're like, yeah, totally fine, carry on. Just the fallout from the process. I'm a bit of like a football news nerd. I'd be very interested on like the long reads and how they deconstruct how it's just been a bit of a front show. Do you know what I mean? By the Premier League and by everyone involved. By, you know, UEFA obviously have a turbulent relationship with Man City and how they didn't play ball with them before when they tried to kick him out the Champions League for a couple of seasons. Like, it will all be aggregated together into one big story, the big picture. How were they or were they not found guilty? Why was the process like this? Really, just like now it's all out in the open. What's going on? Why did it happen? And can we all just lay this to rest and find peace and closure? I wanted to speak about it because it was going around the headlines again. Let me know your thoughts. Please do comment down below. Thank you as always for liking and subscribing. Daily content, man. React to the big games here, of course. So do keep it locked. Road to 20,000 subscribers, I think we can call it now, which is bloody wicked. Thanks, mate. Hope to see you back here soon. Peace.